Drew Fessenden, Full City Consulting.
Awesome. All right, Drew. So it sounds like this is your first pause. Can you tell me a little bit about your experience?
This was my first pause. I've been wanting to attend pause for a long time before we were all, doing everything virtually for a while. And I loved it. It was so great to be able to be with this very special community. Um, it was really meaningful to me. There were so many meaningful moments, but one that I'll share is at the end when Jason Young got up and said, and I'm paraphrasing here, what makes this conference so special, among other things, is there is a tendency at other environments to sort of sniff out who is more senior and who is more junior. And that doesn't happen here. And people who are, my advice to people who are feel that they're junior is that feeling of needing to know more and not wanting to get held back, and that never stops, and that's okay. Embrace it. Again, I'm paraphrasing. I'm not trying to put words in Jason's mouth, but that's certainly what I took away, and that was very meaningful. Because when you're in an environment with the greatest FileMaker minds on the planet, and let's face it, we are, between Clay and Todd and Martha and John Sindelar, and it's easy to feel it's easy to feel like a small fish. But this community is so encouraging and supportive, and that just comes through even more at Puz than any other place where we get together. And I really loved it, and I look forward to going back. I met so many people where they just felt like they could be their authentic selves, and they could talk about coding, or they could talk about songwriting, or they could talk about woodworking, or anything. And I think all of that makes us sort of who we are as FileMaker people. And I think Pause makes us stronger as a community, and that makes us better at who we are and what we do. So thank you to Martha and Chrissy for all the hard work.
Oh, thank you. Do you think we've already announced that we're doing it at the same location next year, and we did
Yeah.
it the year before at the same place? Do you think the location has some responsibility on the type of event it is?
Yeah, this was my only Pause. I know earlier they were done in hotel suites. I really think the location at the camp in Georgia was a huge part of setting the tone and the environment. Just going for walks in the morning and seeing the steam rise off the lake, and you could get your zen on, but you could jump in with people in a way that you could not at a hotel. So
Yeah,
I definitely think the location had a lot to do with it, and
very
I'm
cool.
glad we're doing the next one in the same place.
Yeah, we're excited too. Are there any conversations or sessions that you attended or conversations that you had that stuck out to you?
Um, there were great sessions, but really what stuck with me was just the chance to get some one-on-one time with people that I felt like I knew from watching videos and blog posts. Talking to Richard Carlton one-on-one, talking to John Sindelar one-on-one, and not about business. John and I had a great conversation about Doc Martens. That, I think, was really one of the key bonuses for me, was just having that personal interaction, that one-on-one time with folks.
Very cool. What did you think about being at a tech conference that was pushing so much for analog?
I wasn't expecting to be at a tech conference that was pushing so much for analog, but that was very useful. I mean, it's right there in the title. It's Puzz. Um, and I think we all have a lot to gain by stepping away from our devices and looking and talking more holistically at what we do, and not having the distraction of having your device right on hand. Definitely felt woven into the whole DNA of the thing.
Good.
And I thought that was a key ingredient to its success.
Very cool. Well, you mentioned that relationships are pretty important at Pause, and so I know you got to see Adam Aronson and spend some time with him, right? So did you get some bonus co-working time?
With Adam, I mean, I see and talk to Adam all the time. Yes. Yeah, we talk all the time. We only get to see each other, once every month or two, usually at a client meeting. So we don't really get to hang out. And this was definitely an opportunity to do that in a very special setting.
What do you see the value is of doing an in-person event versus something like Auto Enter Live was Zoom based, right? Or
Right.
it was online. So what do you think? What do you think about the in person? Is that an important piece of it?
I think it's a very important piece of it. I think that if anything good came out of the pandemic, it did open a lot of people up to a new form of working and the importance of remote and letting people do things on their own schedules. And not everyone is a 9 to 5 person. And the new world we live in allows people to thrive in that environment. But I would hate to see us lose what we get with those spontaneous interactions and just those live in person interactions. So I'm hoping we're all moving as a society toward a hybrid type of thing. And I'm glad we were able to do auto enter, and I'm glad that we were able to do engage virtually. But there is something very special about getting everyone together again for that spontaneity, for those conversations that just never would have happened otherwise.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, so like we mentioned earlier, we're going to do pause again, same location. It's going to be summer camp in the fall again. So, what advice would you have for new future attendees?
Oh, new future attendees. New first time future attendees or for
Yeah,
anyone?
yeah. Well, let's start with the first timers.
As a first timer, I didn't know it would be as analog as it was. And I don't know if I would have done anything differently. I still would have brought my laptop. Maybe I wouldn't have brought it with me around in a backpack all day. But I used my pause device heavily, which was the analog whiteboard clipboard, and just not having a device as part of the conversation lets you take it in many different directions. And it just changes the whole frame of it and lets us talk and collaborate in ways that we don't when we're talking and working with each other the rest of the year. And I think
Yeah.
that's one of the many special things about Pause.
Yeah, very cool. Good, good, good. So what about people who are coming back? Do you think that they're gonna get new fun stuff, or why would someone come back to pause?
Well, it's clear that there are relationships and friendships and energy that these people give each other. And even if you might have someone from Soliant and somebody from Geist or somebody from Full City who might be talking to each other over the course of the year, there is just something about breaking bread at the table, much less sitting around the campfire
Yeah,
singing songs. And there's just a special energy that there's no other way to get there.
yeah.
Yeah.
It was the first full night after the first full day. I was handing out glow sticks,
Yep.
and it was at that moment where I was like, this is like the way I was doing it was completely childish, and like I was just in this mode of playfulness, and no one balked at it. Everyone like played along, or like, they got excited that there were glow sticks. But it was this fun energy that I would have never done that. I don't think at a DevCon or an Engage. Right, that's not how you
Right.
act there.
Right.
And so it's interesting to see how playfulness creates playfulness, right? And everyone
Yeah.
jumps right in, and we're about to go to the fire pit and do all those things. So a lot of my memories came from actually those things.
I was sitting with Clay at that moment when you came over with the glow sticks, and he was talking to me about a car he was restoring. And I was having trouble making a bracelet out of my glow sticks. And some of the people at my table were helping me, and I was taking it all in that this is funny. I mean, I'm here with some great FileMaker minds and some great technical people. And I think about the problems that they've helped other people solve before, and what's mine is trying to make a bracelet out of these glow sticks before going off to the campfire. Where else but Pause can you say that?
Exactly, exactly. Where else can you say that you're going to throw water balloons, or have
Yeah.
water balloons thrown at you from some of the greatest minds?
And you need that. You know, you need those moments.
Yeah, I think so. Did you get to do any water balloons?
I didn't. I was watching at one point when there was the water balloon slingshot,
Good.
and there were some really successful deployments, and then there were a couple backfires.
That's the story of our life. We carried that through.
Right.
That's awesome. Any last thoughts or anything else you want to say about Pause?
Just again, huge thank you to Chrissy and Martha for all the work, and I can appreciate how much went into it, and I can't wait to go back.
Well, we look forward to seeing you there for sure. Awesome. Thank you for taking the time to do this. This is really
Oh,
great.
thank you, Martha. Good to
All
talk
right.
to you.